The manosphere is falling apart. If you're familiar with the online self-improvement space, you might have noticed that some of these well-known online influencers are either radically changing their tune or just struggling to maintain their earlier success. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we can run through a few examples real quick. Example 1 is Hamza. He's like the OG self-improvement guy who showed off his really impressive transformation, and he taught other people how to do the same. He inspired thousands, maybe even millions of young men to get in the gym, work on themselves, all of that. But nowadays it seems like he himself is kind of lost. He gets criticized.
Me personally, I never followed Hamza's message. It just kind of felt like if you're not doing what I'm doing, you're not doing something right in life. It felt like one of those type of YouTube messages from an influencer, right? It felt like it was just kind of building an army for him. It wasn't really about helping men, but that's just my personal opinion.
Contradicting himself all the time. Seems like he changes his video style like every week. And all he really does nowadays is try to funnel people into his online courses or communities or coaching calls or whatever the fuck he sells. Example number 2, we can look at First Man. He's like the more mature version of the self-improvement guru. Talks a lot about living a classy lifestyle, and his channel has almost completely fallen off nowadays. His views are tanking. I think he deleted like all of his previous videos. And he's doing this thing called 1M House, where he's basically, long story short, trying to scam his followers into buying him a house, which he can rent out as a timeshare. Example 3, we can look at the Walter guy from Fresh and Fit. I think Myron is fresh and Walter is fit or some shit like that. But yeah, he's one of those guys who talks about like traditional values when it comes to dating and shits on these shallow materialistic women. And this dude recently literally got exposed for getting a gold digger pregnant. Example 4, we can even look at Wheat Waffles, who is this looks maxing guy. He's one of the black pill guys that really talks about how much looks matter in dating and relationships. And his videos really helped me a lot personally, because I used to be as ugly as fuck. But recently, a lot of people were surprised to see that he quit YouTube, and the reason that he gave was that it's just not worth it anymore. But some people speculate that the real reason for it was because basically there was a recent article in like a UK newspaper where his parents completely shit on him. Like, I think they disowned him or something, and talked about how he's like a menace to society. But the point here is that overall, I think it's clear that the manosphere is falling. Self-improvement, red pill, that kind of community, it's not doing too well nowadays. And it was something that I was thinking about because I guess my own channel sort of lies within this space. And I was wondering if maybe my channel would fall off before I even really got to build a big audience in the first place. So I spent some time trying to understand what really went wrong with these people so that I can maybe learn from it and try to avoid the same mistakes that they made. And I sort of
Personally, I think with Fresh and Fit, if you know it's Fresh and Fit, Myron would talk about God. He would talk about the Islamic religion, and he kind of, when he first started, would mention that quite a bit. But I noticed as time would go on, he would slowly start saying, "Nah, we're not religious. We're not religious." He slowly and slowly he just, and then they would ask him, "What religion are you?" He say, I'm not I'm not religious. I'm not religious." And then sometimes he would say, "I'm Muslim." And then sometimes he would say, "I'm not religious. We're not religious." Then it would be Muslim. Then when he started doing that, I was like, yeah, that time's up, because now he's kind of gone into a worldly place where it's just about fucking these hoes, getting this money, mentioning we're a high value man 24/7, making millions. Do you know how many times I've heard him say, "You're in this room with multi-millionaires. You're in this room with multi-millionaires. You're in this room with 3 of them right now. And me and my multi-millionaire friends," like, bro, he says that all the time. So it kind of seemed like he kind of had God in his life at first, but then slowly he started slipping off into a worldly realm. His flies on. Hold up, bro.
realized that it came down to 3 main things. Nowadays, it's obvious that everyone is trying to sell you a course, and I think people are starting to catch on to this. I think the audiences of some of these online gurus are starting to see that it's just an obvious cash grab, and you can point to so many examples of this. You've got Tate with the Classic Hustlers University, the real world type shit, and then look at Hamza selling his Adonis community or private coaching calls for $5,000. That Iman guy, everyone knows him. Basically, all of his videos just served as a funnel to get people to buy into his agency course. These people are all just using the same exact playbook, and people are starting to catch on and realize this lack of authenticity, really. Because if you think about it, all of these self-improvement guys, they got popular in the first place from being authentic. They offered genuine advice and didn't ask for anything in return. But now they get a little clout, and they start to basically say that, oh, the only way you can really improve is by buying my course and paying me money. You know, it seems like everything has to be hidden behind a paywall nowadays. And it's just kind of annoying how everything seems like one giant sales pitch. Now, I've personally never bought one of these online courses or communities, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm willing to admit that. But from what I've heard from people online who bought these things, it looks like what they do is just repurpose free and widely available information and sell it under the guise of something exclusive. They use all these manipulative funnels and high pressure sales tactics to lure you in and promise a quick fix to all of life's problems. Time's up, you gotta join now or you're gonna miss out on this opportunity. So it's really no wonder why a lot of these online gurus are losing their support from their fan base nowadays. Because that's what happens when you don't treat them as people in an audience. You just treat them instead as another lead to convert.
Now, guys, one thing I will say, and I'm gonna skip that. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm gonna get out. You're not even gonna have to watch this with me right now. But one thing I will say, with when doing YouTube, you can fall into that trap of looking at people as numbers, especially when your numbers start going up, and maybe you're in a situation where you're trying to better your life or do stuff with your life or have the finances to be able to move around the way you want to move around. You can start to look at stuff as numbers. So to anybody out there who's creating content, always remember, serve your community. And it's crazy because when you serve your community, you get more numbers anyway. So always serve your community. Don't look at people as numbers. We're all human beings. Well, damn.
Actually, for people like me,
It's okay. We have the answers. For the facts, search Curaleaf Clinic today.
Another big reason
Fly's dead now, bro. We can focus now, guys. Look at this bit. Fucking dead.
why these influencers are falling out of favor is that they were built up to be these sort of untouchable role models for young men to look up to and aspire to be, like this Adonis sort of figure that Hamza talks about, as if he's the Adonis. And it's natural that people began to idolize them, thinking that they could do no wrong. And these influencers in turn started to act that way. These people like to portray themselves as if they're some sort of heroes, showing off their lifestyle and giving advice really not from a place of empathy, but from a place of arrogance, as in saying that you should follow my advice and listen to me.
That's literally what I said about Hamza. When I went to his channel, it was like it didn't feel like it was something to help. It felt like join my gang, join my army, join my squad. If you're not, something's wrong with you. Like it comes off as arrogant. Like if you're not with me or doing what I say or waking up exactly at this time that I say, something's wrong with you. That's crazy.
Because I know better than you. Like Hamza, to this day, he literally unironically calls himself a code leader. And while he genuinely gives good advice and has helped thousands, maybe even millions of people, myself included, I think anyone with the mental maturity of maybe like a 14-year-old can see how cringe that is to call yourself something like that. It just represents like a lack of humility. So basically, these people have been put on such a high pedestal by their own audiences and also by the own facade that they put up. But as the saying goes, you really can't hide your true colors forever. And over time, these people began to get exposed for who they really were in different kinds of ways. And you know, honestly, that's okay. It's kind of unfair to judge them because we're all humans and we all make mistakes. So at least I personally don't blame these people for, fucking up or even accidentally acting hypocritical in their personal lives, because no one's perfect. And we usually accept that pretty well. But when you contradict yourself in such an obvious way in front of such an audience of millions of people who previously idolized you, yeah, obviously the audience is gonna start to not be happy with you. They're going to think they've been betrayed, which they sort of have been. Like Walter, the fresh and fit guy, spreading like a generational message about how you should avoid hoes and gold diggers and shitting on shallow materialistic women, and then hearing that you got a gold digger pregnant. Like, there's nothing more ironic than that. Bottom line is this, that if you broadcast your supposedly perfect life to the world and act as though you have everything in life figured out, then you're gonna have to really live up to those standards that you set for yourself. And when you don't, because at the end of the day everyone is human, then you should be ready to face the consequences, or in this case the downfall of the idols of the manosphere. If you really think about it, self-improvement influencers have sort of caused their own demise. Let me explain it. You're a young kid who's in a really tough place in life. You're ugly, you're weak, you get no girls. Then you start watching Tate and Hanzo. You learn about the red pill, looks maxing, making money online, all of that good stuff. And then there's two things that could possibly happen. Number one, you try all of those things and you still don't succeed. At which point, you come to the conclusion that everything these people taught was bullshit anyways, so you stop watching them. Number two is that you follow their advice, you try all of these things, and it actually works. And while you still appreciate them for helping you improve, now you've ascended to a level where you really don't need them anymore. You stop watching them because you're really onto your own life now. So in the end, both scenarios end up with what the title of the video says, the manosphere falling. For me personally, I'm happy to say that.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a really good point you mentioned, and I'm not gonna lie, this is a good video. I'm kind of concerned when I see people who have been in the red pill space for like 15 years. Like, what are you doing in there for 15 years? You complaining about women for 15 years? That's crazy. Where are we building? That's one thing I see about red pill. I don't see no building. Yeah, men are coming together, but whoa, apart from being on the internet and in these chats and stuff like that, where's the coming together? Where's the building? All I really see is complaining. You can't just be complaining about women for 15 years. Like, a lot of people in the manosphere, they come in and they come out. They come in and they get out. That's really what you should be doing. Get the information, improve, because it does help you improve. There's stuff in there that will help you improve. Get the information, improve, and move on. But there's people in there for long ass time. Like, that's crazy. That's to be complaining about women 1 year and then 15 years later still complaining about women. Where's the building at? But that's a really good point he mentioned right here at the end of the video. But yeah, shout out to this content creator. His name is Alex Way. Yeah, this is a good video, guys. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'm out. Let me go wash my hand, man. Clean this shit from this fly, bro. Nothing's really on it, but I don't know. I'm gonna wash it anyway. I'm out.